G'day guys and welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters in Gyeonggi. I am Maynard, with me is my good pal Kevin Rotterdam van der Gooi. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I was a little tired early this morning because these flights from America are killer, but after watching the first game of the day on the B stream, ZvZ Leenock on Whirlwind, I think everybody has been wide awake because that game was sick. If you've missed it, then what are you waiting for? First thing, queue it up, bookmark it, watch that game as soon as the main stream is on, because that was awesome. Great way to start the event. And yeah, I'm doing good. We're having fun with the boys backstage, watching some games.
We always have such a great time.
I know, I'm ready.
It's my first time in South Korea. You've been here before, but it's actually both of our first times casting StarCraft 2 in South Korea. So a little bit of a milestone for us as commentators, but more importantly, some milestones happening for the players as well. We've got Leenock going up against soO. And I believe soO has had he was often referred to as a ZvZ specialist. Leenock, of course, no slouch himself. soO showing some pretty incredible matches, or a incredible match at least, in the StarCraft Kings up against the king, the reigning king at the time, soO, which is probably the best ZvZ I've seen in a long time. Really back and forth, very, very intense. Lots of mind games, burrow play, roaches, hydras, it had the works, Roddy. It was a pretty sick ZvZ. Hopefully this series delivers just as well.
Yeah, hopefully it's going to be something similar like that. That would be awesome. But I think soO is a pretty big favorite going into this. A lot of people actually thought that Leenock was an underdog in this group, that he was absolutely not going to make it out. Would be awesome for Leenock, because whenever I think of Leenock, I think of the old days, you know, in all the foreign tournaments where Leenock was one of the most consistent performers. So he obviously has what it takes, but I don't know if you've seen it lately. soO has been putting in those hours on the NA ladder, and we all know, if you dominate NA ladder, just look at Neep. You can dominate in Korea
Exactly.
as well.
That one example we have is an infallible reason to prove your point there, Roddy. But soO is also, he's been a bit of a meme for a while, the second place guy, you know, the Kong. But he's actually, he was in a Lima League, he was the Lima League finalist. He won the championship up against none other than the champion himself, Bjorn, as well. So he's riding a bit of a high. It would be a struggle to argue that soO is not in form right now. But looking over at Leenock, his form in the IEM Gyeonggi qualifiers leading up to this was pretty great as well. I mean, he didn't have any big Zergs to play. He actually had to beat, I think, Bunny to make it to qualify in the end. CJ Antis' Bunny, of course. But there's Leenock on screen right now, and that hair, you just don't know what color it's going to be every time you come back to look at Leenock, and it's a nice shade of purple right now, Twitch purple.
You know, I'm actually sad that my hair is not long enough, because I was ready to go to the barber shop here and color my hair as well, but it's just barely grown back after I shaved it off. But he's looking good, man, and it's, like I said, a tiny bit surprising to see him here in the upper bracket match, but at the same time, it's not surprising at all, because it's freaking Leenock, and Leenock can always perform, and Leenock is always capable of having a very deep run.
And he is, like I just showed there, that it has been a couple years, but a couple seasons rather, that Leenock has actually been IEM champion before, which is really cool coming into the Intel Extreme Masters Gyeonggi. And there's soO, the man of the hour. He is really, really looking on form right now. Roddy and I both agree, this guy is absolutely the favorite coming into this match. He's, you know, a Kesp Cup champion, a Lima League champion. He's gotten deep in Season 10 of Intel Extreme Masters. At the Gamescom, he got second place. So he's really, really looking in form. Both players looking quite incredible.
That was against Fantasy back then, correct?
I think so. You might be right. It was a long time ago.
Mac on Terraform. I'm actually so excited to cast these games. I've been having so much fun with StarCraft lately, and I think that this is going to be an absolutely amazing tournament. Should be just an awesome day. Today's going to be a long day as well. We've got like 10 best of 3s.
Yeah.
This is only the third one. And just overall, man, looking at the lineup, looking at the hype that StarCraft has right now, in my opinion, like, our community is so positive and full of love. Like, I go to Reddit and I get warm and fuzzy inside because everybody's having so much fun with the game.
It's a new experience.
It is, like, it just feels great, and I think really this is going to be an awesome upcoming 5 or 6 days. We are ready. I believe the players are pretty much ready as well, as I see a lot of spamming going on. So.
Yeah, a lot there. By Neeblet?
Yeah. Can be the real one, can it?
No. But yeah, we're going to be getting into Newkirk Precinct actually for our first map. A lot of the old maps coming back in. 3.8, you know, it had a bit of a rocky start there. You know, a few people had a lot to say. It's what it's like in the RTS, but when you change things up, especially when it's such a passionate community as well. But I got to say, I'm having more fun with the game right now than I ever have before. It is actually absolutely, in my opinion, the best form of StarCraft that we've had to see here in Legacy Void. But let's get into it, guys. At the bottom right here in the Group We Winners match, we have got Leenock, the Lone Octopus. He's back.
And on the left bottom side of Newkirk Precinct, we're looking at the main base of perhaps one of the favorites for this entire tournament, at least to make it into the final. Haha, it is soO.
Yeah, he's at least going to be second place. Will he?
Let's not do this here because they're going to make clips of us jinxing soO over
well,
here.
they already did that for you in Home Story Cup, Roddy. There's plenty of videos out there if you want to see
hey,
Roddy's dreams coming true live on stream.
That was a great cast, you know.
It actually was. I was awake for a lot of it, Home Story Cup. I was a bit of a waste man, waking up at midday because I was up all night watching Home Story Cup with you and Jeff and Todd.
People can make fun of me all they want, but if there's an entire army standing in the natural to defend against a drop, that's solid defense, and I don't care if that mine shoots or not. Alright, let's focus on this ZvZ. ZvZ has been a fun matchup lately as well. Now, if I think of Leenock, I think traditionally pretty aggressive, right? Like definitely a Zerg that likes to make a few more units than their opponent and see if they can find an opening with these Lings, with these Banes early on.
Well, what's happening here in the early game is something I like to call in ZvZ the gentleman's agreement, where you go hatchery first, you don't do anything crazy, then you get your gas and pull afterwards, and it's basically a standard safe all-round opening for both players. Basically saying, you know, I'm not scared of my opponent. I don't want to just, you know, I don't want to just 14 pull them straight off the point and like that. I just want to play a legit game for game number 1 and see how we go, fill each other out. I feel like Leenock and soO, I mean, the matchup especially is very, very hard to call in terms of who's going to win here. Even though, yes, soO's the favorite, he is the specialist, that sort of thing, but it's one of those matchups, man. Crazy stuff can happen very, very easily.
That is true, but at the same time, it's still soO, and the guy has just been so solid, such a god for such a long time now, even though he hasn't won that many tournaments. He's made so many final appearances, and I also feel that lately, he seems to be having a lot of fun as well. I mean, he's streaming. It's not like the crazy 10-hour streams, but we still get to see a couple of hours of soO every now and then. And yes, he's playing on NA ladder, and there will be a lot of people say like, well, there's like 100 Koreans that will destroy NA ladder.
What was his win rate before he hit you on NA ladder?
Before he hit me, it was 70-1, but that one loss was a disconnect. But after he hit me, 71-1. I put up one hell of a fight. Yeah, hey, I put up one hell of a fight, okay?
Oh, you would have gone down swinging, Roddy. I trust you.
So Bailing Nest being morphed in for soO. I'm expecting Leenock to do the same, unless he decides to completely skip it and maybe defend with just Link, Queens, and then go into Roaches straight away. I mean, he goes up to 3 bases a little faster. It's gonna give him more larvae to work with, obviously. This would be nice for Leenock if he can just maybe be a nuisance around this drone, but nah, doesn't even bother.
Nah, those other 2 Lings did disengage there, and soO's going to get his up a little bit later than Leenock. Really not much to tell here for both players. It's looking pretty standard, but we are, as Roddy mentioned, seeing that Baneling Nest come down. Could potentially mean that some kind of aggression hits with speed, but could also be used for defense as well. It's a great Baneling Nest. When I played Zerg back in the day, I always got the Baneling Nest. It's my favorite, you know, defensive and offensive structure. It just feels so important to have in ZvZ.
It would be really nice for soO to figure out that Leenock is doing all of this without a Baneling Nest, and I think if soO would know that, he could just hold down the Zergling key, make nothing but Lings, and put on some real Ling Bane pressure. Why not? We see the Roach Warren is being thrown down now for Leenock, but it's a little bit late. But once again, it's something like, oh, the Baneling's coming in from the north side.
Yeah, reaction there from Leenock. Doesn't take a big hit, but the Banelings are still threatening here. He's microing back a little bit. Just engaging well with the Lings of soO. He does have a Ling advantage up until soO's reinforcement there. Pulling back to his 3rd.
I would like to see what he's going to do with these Lings. Maybe work on the hatch now. Instead, he's going to try to run into the natural, but there's enough Lings there. Look at soO. It's nothing but Lings from this point. I think soO is picking up on the fact like, hey, why do you have so many Lings? Why do you not have any Banelings? Can you keep this hatchery alive without a Baneling Nest? Well, we're about to find out.
Looks like so far so good. Roach is about to join here, which is going to make things a little bit easier for Leenock on defense. They're not going to have speed for a while and tough to defend with, but speaking of offense here, soO's looking pretty good to take out this 3rd hatchery, Roddy. It's getting very, very low.
Yep, and he's getting a couple of free Roaches as well. He should use maybe the Banes on the hatch. Is he going to go for the hatchery or not? Yes, he will, and he actually splashes on the Roach too. Well done.
That's a huge pick off there for soO. He's in a lovely spot right now. I mean, yeah, he's behind a little bit in tech. The Roach tech is scary to deal with when you're just on Lings, but he can still, he has that openings. Leenock needs to recover now. He can't really go across the map with these Roaches and expect to get critical damage done. So soO's in a really lovely spot as he gets his Roach Warren very safely back at home.
Yep, this one Queen, a little bit out of position. Lings will surround it and pick it up. Actually going to go for the Roaches too.
Big surround on the Roaches after getting that Queen. soO large in charge here. 4 Roaches from the back here should swing things in favor for Leenock. But he's going to get the Roaches before they turn into Ravagers here. And just trading links for that is fantastic.
Yeah, that was pretty solid. I believe that's 2 roaches and a Ravager. Well, not bad at all. And a queen indeed, for just a couple of links. soO definitely making the best of very little. I mean, that Overlord may have went down, but it wasn't for nothing. And overall, I think that soO's in a very sweet position now. Even though he's still down a couple of workers, he will be able to turn that around very, very quickly. And look at the amount of links. Even though soO has his Roach 1 finished up, look at the amount of links he already has on the map. Could be a Link Ravager push.
Yeah, a ton of links on the map here. Army supply in soO's advantage, even though he doesn't have the more supply heavy units. So there's a lot of links on the dance floor here. 34 links on the ground here, and heading into the natural of Leenock. Does bat him away, loses 1 drone spine call there, and going for the 3rd again. And I feel with this many links, if he wraps around it and commits, he could definitely get it. But looks like he wants to engage the roaches on the Ravager instead.
Kind of a risky move with a couple of roaches on the high ground as well. Let's see how many roaches he will actually be able to kill. Almost nothing.
Just gets 1 roach there, Roddy, and that is not a good trade at all.
No.
Leenock's going to be feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, that was like 30 links, I believe.
Yeah,
I think he had like 38 links on the map. Now he's got 4 left. Well done there by Leenock. Excellent positioning on those roaches. And I think that Leenock really needed that, because with that many links out and all the roaches that soO was producing as well, it would have been hard to defend against, you know, push of all those units together. But soO thinking he saw an opening, and this time he did not. He got tricked.
Here. Coming in here and having a look-see, and if he gets to see the lair, that's a nice little spot there for Leenock. Does see it. Oh, sorry, for soO, sorry. Does see Leenock's lair coming down. Both players actually heading towards tier 2 now with Evo Chambers. They're both on Roach and Ravager here, and will be for a while, and ZvZ tends to be, but we're going to have to see if the players want to go for Mutalisk, which is popular in ZvZ, or even just Roach Hydra, which is coming back a little bit as well, because the Lurker is a great comeback unit, and just a great unit overall on attack or defense in this matchup.
I mean, since both their bases are where they are right now, the 3rd base that is, it doesn't take very long to rush from one side of the map to the other. So it's very hard, I think, to squeeze out a Spire, to squeeze out a big building like this. And I think from now on, they all just want to get is +2 missile attacks and make a lot of roaches, and obviously try to find an opening, maybe deny a 4th base. But I think it's very hard on these spawning positions on this map to just, in a very even game, be like, oh, let's put it on a Spire and see how it goes.
So Leenock's actually taken a bit of an army supply hit, but he's droning pretty heavily right now, and he's, I mean, as soO prepares his army to become a little bit bigger than Leenock's, Leenock's is taking a little bit of an econ advantage in this stage of the game, as he probably heads towards 4th hatchery pretty soon, and starts to get his army up. Yeah, there it is. So the 4th hatchery going down here for Leenock, and both players sort of powering here for that mid game, leaving each other alone for now. Not really seeing any run buys or anything like that, which is a little bit interesting.
Isn't it crazy how even this game is? Like 8 minutes in, despite the fact that they went for kind of different build orders. One player went straight up to roaches, the other one opened up with the Baling Nest. We saw a 3rd base die, we saw it almost getting cancelled again. A whole bunch of roaches and queens getting picked off, but right now, almost 9 minutes into the game, it's 145 army supply against 143 plus 1 missile attacks.
Yeah.
About even. Like, that's crazy. They took such different routes to where they are actually right now in the game, but in the end, it's pretty even.
Yeah, you see that the observer showing there that soO has not seen that 4th of Leenock, but he can feel pretty safe that that's going up now. He is aware of the army supply and where the army is of Leenock, so he's not too afraid of like him pulling units somewhere and doing something insane. He's going to move across the map here and look to see what he can get done with that 3rd. Baling Nest going down now for Leenock can be handy when the Hydras come out, but up until then it's really not super useful unless you do run buys and that sort of thing. Got a bit of a scuffle here in the middle of the map. Ravager bile shots going down. Both players too good to get hit by them to exchange a few blows and back off a bit there.
Oh, he's got to be careful now. He's morphing a couple of roaches very close to the Ravagers of soO, and those biles will connect.
Yeah, very nice connections here. Some biles getting lost in the mix, just getting a little bit of repositioning there by both players and really exchanging blows. The army supply is still so very close. soO, with the attack though, does mean, you know, that Leenock kind of has that defender's advantage. He's very, very close to his reinforcement point. As more roaches come down for Leenock, he's got some about to hatch from that 3rd base as well. Oh, some biles connecting on the front there.
Yeah, the one advantage here for soO is definitely that he has way more Ravagers, so he can force his army of Leenock to run around a little bit, and obviously, as long as it's running around, he will not be shooting with a lot of these roaches, and the Ravagers got more range as well, so soO, even though the numbers are very even, I like his army a little bit better.
And he always seems to have that concave as well. It's very awkward to get a concave when you're defending play on this map. All that thoughts and lots of biles come down the back, but Leenock pushing forward here, started stepping right into soO's army, and those Ravagers are very, very easy to take out if you can get the roaches up in their faces. And Leenock just getting muscled back by just too many Ravagers here from soO.
It was very close, and indeed it looked like he was almost getting nice and close and comfy to those Ravagers of soO. but in the end he just didn't really have his own roaches left anymore. So I mean, he's reinforcing, and he's still up a little bit in army supply. The only thing he's down in is Ravager count, but even that he's actually slowly but steady catching up, because one moment it was like 4 against 9. Right now it's 6 against 9 Ravagers, so it's not that bad anymore. So far, I think very strong defensive play by Leenock.
Yeah, indeed. Both players scuffling very nicely here. And I mean, ZvZ brought up something pretty cool, is that the 4th hatchery of Leenock's actually not being mined from at all. It's just a production facility right now, while soO's mining. Bile's going down, that Ravager somehow manages to hatch and live to fight another day. 2 more getting more from the top here. He's going to look to Bile those down. Actually just concentrating on the roaches of soO here. And Leenock's starting to muscle him back a little bit. The defender's advantage coming into play.
It's such a little funny dance as they're both just shooting balls at each other over and over again, making sure that one player doesn't take too much damage. As long as that doesn't happen, it becomes very, very hard to engage into each other.
soO just always seems to have the concave whenever they fight as well, which is so important in ZvZ. Splitting up his army and hitting from 2 sides at the same time.
Leenock is getting Baneling speed now, and he has finally caught up in the Ravager count, and that's pretty impressive, because once again, he was down heavily in Ravagers. Now he's down 2 again, because soO just made 2 more.
It's a little bit awkward when you try and transition from Roach Ravager into making a bunch of lings. A lot of your lava is not spent on remaxing this army, which is getting dwindled every time he engages with soO, who is just still making those Roaches and Ravagers.
Yeah, it's a beautiful fireworks show, man.
It's lovely.
1st of July, you know, or the 4th of July, the ZvZ edition.
Yeah, that's right. The Christmas fireworks coming a little bit early here.
Yeah, I guess so.
Finally, Leenock getting a nice concave here, muscling soO back a little bit. He's going to split the army up.
I don't think I've ever seen this many balls being shot back and forth.
Well, there are a ton of Ravagers to both players here, so...
+2 missile attacks now on the way for soO. Leenock's still not starting, and Leenock's going to go for it. He was eating a couple of very big ball shots there.
I think that was a little bit of an overextension for Leenock. He lost a lot, a lot of leer points on those very, very important Roaches, and lost a couple as well as he went a little bit deep on soO there.
Oh my god, it's 15 Ravagers for soO now.
soO just keeps turning every hurt Roach, like every Roach that's on 5 or less hit points gets turned into a Ravager.
Yeah.
Full health all over again.
Excellent micro. You can see it in the bank as well. He just has a little bit more, even though they have been on the same amount of drones for a very, very long time now. So
This engagements and soO's little moves like turning those hurt Roaches into Ravagers and those Ravagers being so important for him. The extra range, the fact that they can shoot Biles, the fact that they can zone Leenock's army is actually putting him maxed well before Leenock here. 30 supply and advantage, all of it army, and he's finally starting to break the back of Leenock here. Baneling's coming in, but it's just not enough Banelings, Roddy. There is just too much from soO here, and he's going to start muscling through by the looks of it.
soO's micro was a little too good. He's a little too good in dancing, and he obviously requires the tango skills a little better than Leenock does, as the Ravager count was just too high. He cleans up all the Roaches here of Leenock, and that's going to be it for game number 1 on Newkirk.
There you go.